Welcome to J Squared. This is our podcast where we're interviewing teachers on their life story. This is episode 3, and today we're here with Mr. McNaull.
All right, so Mr. McNaull, what inspired you to be a teacher?
So you go back 27 years when I graduated high school, and you told me I was going to be a teacher, I would have laughed in your face. But when I moved to Pittsburgh, it was about 5 years after I had graduated school. I decided I wanted to go back to college, and we'll get into my educational background in a minute, but. I really liked history. I liked politics, and so I ended up wanting to get into doing something in those fields. And one thing that I thought maybe I'd be pretty good at is being a teacher. Really, I never worked with kids at all before that. So I didn't have any experience, but I had experience with the topics, and so being that I really like the topics, I thought, well, this is something, like I said, maybe I could do, and I went and I pursued it, and so here I am.
So that's kind of why physics and law and like why you teach that stuff here, right?
Yeah, so I was a history major in college, and kind of like I thought about what could I do with that, and so there aren't a lot of options for history majors, and so I dual majored in history and political science, and so getting into that field and being a social studies major, like we can teach a lot of different topics. We can teach psych and soc and world history and all kinds of different stuff. So when it comes to like why I teach law and civics, those were really the jobs that were open. And so and being in a field, like you kind of are it's kind of up, like you getting a job in a district is kind of determined by the jobs that are available.
Yeah.
And so I actually lucked into getting a civics job because it's fun. It's kind of, we can see things happen in real time. Like we can literally watch the news and see things go on that we're talking about in class.
Yeah.
So and that's the same with the law class as well. Like we can look at like how court cases are like going on in society. We can look at famous court cases, and we can really look at those in real time, and we can be studying that content as they're happening. Yep.
Now, do you have like a favorite area of like study in civics or like?
Yeah, so the Bill of Rights, I love the Bill of Rights. It's my favorite topic. I could probably spend an entire semester on the Bill of Rights. And my student teacher is actually going through that right now, and he's spending a lot of time on it. And it's just so important. Our country was founded on rights, because that's what the founding fathers thought were important, and that's what they experienced under the British. Their rights were being violated, so they created a government to protect those, and they specifically outlined rights that we have as citizens. And so it's important that we value that. Every amendment we have is super important, and so that is what I really like to get into in class. I really like to look at Supreme Court cases too, because especially cases dealing with kids, and how how the rights of kids are in some situations protected, but then not protected when it comes to things like free speech and searches and stuff like that. So I try to make that content applicable to the kids, to their lives, and show them how really that is important, how important it really is.
So you're a big history guy. If you could go on a vacation during any time period, where and when would you choose?
So there's two times. Probably Philadelphia, 1776, when independence was being made. I mean, how cool would that have been? To be there during that time period. Probably the greatest country on earth was being born at that time. And then probably during the time of Jesus in Galilee and Judea, being there for that, probably, I mean, that's a historic, like, unbelievable time.
Yeah.
So during that time period would be really neat. I also really like the Middle Ages, like the middle. I mean, I love modern technology and medicine and stuff like that, but just to kind of like be there, and this is a vacation. I'm not obviously wanting to go there to live, but just to see how people lived, and to see how basic things were. And yeah, so the Middle Ages is kind of an era that I'm very interested in, and kind of would like to go back to if I could.
So we talked a little bit about your educational background. Do you think there's anything we missed out on? Anything important?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. we're gonna go to our last section, which is called Quick Q&A. So it's just short, simple answers.
All right.
So do you believe aliens exist? If so, what are they like?
Yes. Have you ever seen the X-Files?
Yeah.
Yeah, the X-Files, man. Fox Mulder has proven that aliens do exist. So no, I don't know. Yeah, I think aliens. I guess it's a possibility. I guess with all the video that we see of these pilots, coming in contact with these aerial devices. If so, what are they like? I don't know. I've met some strange people in my life. But I think some of these people could possibly be aliens. I mean, just walk down the street.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think the most daring thing you've ever done would have been?
So I'm not the most daring person in the world. Like, I'm pretty reserved. Like, I don't parachute. I don't even go on roller coasters. But I did crowd surf at a Stone Temple Pilots concert. Okay, so that's pretty daring. And then I did fly an airplane, but I flew an airplane. The main pilot was sitting right beside me, and I at least ran the controllers, the joystick or whatever you call it, steering wheel, and the foot controllers. So that was probably it. I'm not very daring.
If you could own a fictional / sci-fi gun, what would it be?
Probably one of those stormtrooper blasters, right? I mean, that's the only thing I can think. I don't know. Probably something like
Probably
that.
what I would choose.
Yeah, probably something like that.
What do you think you'd sing on karaoke night?
Oh man, I have so many 80s songs I love to sing. You're Loved by The Outfield. I know whenever that comes on the radio, I belt that out. Now, not correctly. Like, I don't know the lyrics, but I try.
Yeah.
Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. Like, we've talked about that before, I think. Born to Be My Baby by Bon Jovi. That's just a song. So anything that's kind of upbeat and fast and probably something like that.
Now, are you related or distantly related to anyone famous?
I'm not. I actually had an uncle. Well, no one would know him, but I had an uncle who worked for Ulysses S. Grant. He was actually an Indian agent, and he actually would work with native populations, and he was kind of a liaison with the national government. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But I am not that I know of, related to anyone important.
I'd
Yeah.
call that important.
Yeah.
And then if you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably pineapple curry with chicken, spicy too with white rice, or some sushi dish with tuna.
Can't go wrong with sushi.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Mr. McNaull. We appreciate that.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Square it out.